morning. Welcome into the NFL Los Angeles newsroom. This is NFL Now on this Thursday. I'm Patrick Claybon, taking you all the way up. Here we are on the NFL Network to the start of the free agency frenzy Sunday, which you can see right here on NFL Network as we tick to the new league year. Today on the show, we get the chance to hear from free agent tackle Kelvin Beachum, as well as Pro Football Hall of Famer Leroy Butler, because Aaron Rodgers has been in the news this week. This one of the things that is new right now coming into the NFL Network newsroom. The Jets coalition making a trip to Malibu to speak with Aaron Rodgers. And here we are now on Thursday, a couple of days after that. Tom Pelissero, Mike Garafolo, our NFL Network insiders joining us now. Tom, where do things stand right now between the Jets, Packers, and Aaron Rodgers?
Patrick, here's what we know as of this minute. And this is a 2-hour show. Things can change in that time. If they do, we'll get back to you. But as of right now, the Jets want Aaron Rodgers to be their quarterback. They expressed that in that meeting on Tuesday. The Jets have worked through and thought about what they would be willing to give up in terms of the draft pick compensation, in terms of what they would do with Aaron Rodgers' contract. And if Aaron Rodgers comes to the Packers and says, I want to be a Jet, then they are open to working with him to make that a reality. What we do not have, again, as of this second right here, is clarity from Aaron Rodgers to the teams about what exactly he wants to do. Rodgers has said publicly that all options have been on the table between going back to Green Bay, going to a new team, potentially even retiring. And he holds the keys here because he's due almost $60 million in fully guaranteed compensation this year. He effectively has veto power over any trade. Rodgers is going to serve as the guide. There's additional steps that would need to take place depending on what he wants to do here. But, Mike, that's where we stand right now as the world continues to await word from Aaron Rodgers, which should come here at the latest in the coming days.
Well, it depends what you mean by days. And I was going to talk about the timeline and the fact that the Jets would like an answer, but they're not going to rush it, right? Like, if Aaron Rodgers wants to take his time here and decide what he wants to do, the Jets are not going to be like, hey, dude, like, we got to move here. But that is the reality of things. If they miss out on Rodgers, they then have to go to some other contingency plans, which they have been exploring all along. By the way, it's not like the Jets are sitting here saying, well, Aaron Rodgers and forget about every other option. No, they're trying to figure out what the landscape is, but this would obviously be the biggest fish on the quarterback market for them to land. So it's somewhere between hurry up and take your time. So it's somewhere in there. I think Rodgers has indicated that he does plan on giving them an answer soon, but he said soon back in February, and here we are on March 9th. So I don't know when soon runs out, Patrick, but I would say Tom's right. Probably in the next couple of days. Rodgers understands that the Jets and other teams who miss out on him have to make decisions when the free agent market opens beginning on Monday. Well, actually, the window to negotiate opens on Monday. The actual market opens on Wednesday.
And let's say that soon does expire. Mike, there is another quarterback that has won an MVP that the Jets could possibly pursue. Let's switch gears to Lamar Jackson. Perhaps
Chargers, one from the Bucs, who he went there, turned around the entire program, and won a Super Bowl. Deshaun Watson last year, again, under different types of circumstances, had 4 teams, and they sufficiently drove the price up that the Browns were willing to go to a place the Ravens haven't been willing to with Lamar Jackson, which was a fully guaranteed contract to get Watson to Cleveland. So it's very early here. The NFL sent a memo to all the clubs yesterday reminding them on the rules for the negotiating period, including the fact that the franchise-tagged players cannot communicate with teams during the negotiating window. They can't talk to teams until next Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So only then will Lamar and his mom, who is his advisor, really be able to figure out exactly what the market is beyond Baltimore.
Yeah, so sometime, as Mike said, we may be waiting a little bit longer. We may be waiting for Aaron Rodgers. I'm waiting to hear the music that we had under that Lamar video. It was Stranger Things.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was different. It was like not quite Stranger Things. It was like peculiar scenarios, perhaps interesting circumstances, something like that. We'll be back, as Tom said at the top of the show, with any pending changes surrounding any of these things with Tom Pelissero and Mike Garafolo. Thank you, gentlemen. One guy paying attention to the peculiar circumstances, J.J. Watt, recently announced his retirement. And he's asking why teams are publicly stating that they're out on Lamar Jackson, who's an MVP winner in the prime of his career at the most important position. He says, what am I missing? Perhaps J.J.'s thinking there's some smoke screens going on. And Quentin Williams is joining the chorus of Jets players reaching out to Aaron Rodgers via social media website, twitter.com. Says, I know some amazing golf courses in New Jersey, New York, that you can golf at all season. More open overtures towards the MVP quarterback in Green Bay as Judy Batista joins us now. The Jets players would clearly love to have Aaron Rodgers. This evidenced by their statements these past few days. What's the plan if there's no Rodgers, Judy?
First, before we get to that, let me add that Robert Saleh's brother is also on Twitter pleading with Aaron Rodgers to come to New York. So it is a full court recruiting press here in New York for Aaron Rodgers. What happens if he doesn't want to come to New York and he says, nope, thanks for your interest, but I'm okay? Well, they have to turn to not Plan B, because Plan B was Derek Carr, and he's already in New Orleans. So it would have to be Plan C. They have some options. Jimmy Garoppolo, who has familiarity with Robert Saleh because of their shared time in San Francisco, will be a free agent next week. So that is someplace you would certainly expect that maybe they would look. And then, I mean, why not at least think about Lamar Jackson? As Tom and Mike were saying before, you have to think that the Jets would consider that if you lose out on Aaron Rodgers and you have built up the fan base to the idea that you are going to get this premier signal caller, I'm not sure how you can placate the fan base when they have their hopes crushed, except to get another premier signal caller. And clearly, Lamar Jackson is that. It would be a much more complicated situation, and it might be lengthy, as we've been talking about. Certainly, the lack of an agent is probably going to slow things down here for Lamar Jackson. But certainly, I would think that as the Jets look at all of their options, all of their fallback plans, that Lamar Jackson has to be somebody that they at least give some thought to. And here's another thing. Woody Johnson, the owner of the New York Jets, has never been afraid to pursue star quarterbacks. He has done it in the past, not always successfully, sometimes successfully. Lamar Jackson would certainly be that.
It would really be something if we had 2 years in a row where Nathaniel Hackett goes to a team in pursuit of Aaron Rodgers and they don't get Aaron Rodgers and wind up with another quarterback who's had a lot of success in the NFL. It would really be something. Judy Batista with the latest on the quarterback situation for the Jets.